He's a phenomenal control player.
Still got its smile.
Gonna be looking at the deck list. Test. Why is that happening again?
He's a phenomenal control player.
XD emo.
Co? Dobrze. Test. Test. Alright. Plug and plug works every time. Although you have to know which one to unplug. It's better with robot voice, yeah. Don't unplug the power supply, XD. Oh, I unplugged the power supply of the mic, actually. And then I plugged it again. Let's look at the challenges. Noble Ink Blood. This is Pioneer Challenge 11-12, which is Saturday. Noble Ink Blood wins with humans. Actually, the mic doesn't have power supply, but a power cable, which supplies power. Alright, you're probably right. But I unplugged it and I plugged it so it works. I guess that's all we actually need to know. It has to have a power supply somewhere. I'm not sure how mics work, but when I was setting it up and like reading about it and watching some videos about it, and like they were talking a little bit about ghost power, or something like that. Ghost something. It's kind of weird, right? That it's fueled by ghosts, but that's what they told me. So we see 2 Lotus Fielders. Mono green with 2 Lost Track Beast, 1 Teferi. My mic plugs into a audio interface, and then the audio interface plugs into the PC. And that is all. Izakama is stuck in the sideboard, and it's like allegedly the greatest card ever, but fifth place, and this deck. No, I unplugged the audio interface and then unplugged the audio interface again, and that fixes the mic. But if I unplug the mic from audio interface and I plug it again, and I leave the audio interface plugged at all times, it actually doesn't fix the issue. Wow, 4 spell pierce. So it's a little bit tricky.
He's a phenomenal control player.
I don't quite hate 4 spell pierce. Thank you, Vector MTG, for the sub. Got lots of subs with the Phoenix guide, so be nice. Stop Phoenix from turn 1, okay. Sometimes I have trouble understanding what you mean, but this is one of those times, yet you're probably right. Free Shoipers, free Extraction Specialist, 2 Remorseful Cleric. Cool Ducat with Phoenix. Let's check his list. Free Spike Field. No Shredder main deck. Interesting build. So I just went with Anger of the Gods, Strategic Planning. Just ditched the Shredders entirely. Interesting. 2 Bone Crash in the sideboard. Does hurt against mono green. Just why I guess we see free thing in the ice in the sideboard. I'm not quite into playing for strategic planning though, that's like a little bit mid. Also just 1 temporal trespass. Interesting. You'd think that he would want a little bit more power in his deck with no shredders, but seems not to be the case. What is a Juggalo? This turn 4 looks stronger than Classic Phoenix. Well, does it? Just kind of not a fan of spending mana on strategic planning. Too much, that's a little bit too much air to me. I mean, Shredder digs through your deck too if it survives. But it's an interesting approach. 9th place, we've got red black, free Shoulder, red 1 Kaltas, only free Graveyard Trespasser. Why do you keep thinking that today is Wednesday? Because you did nothing on something important on Sunday. What is Stern Dismissal for? It can bounce Leyline. So it's okay against Keruga. If you did something important on Sunday and you like were actively working on something, then it might feel like 1 extra day passed in the week. What is a Juggalo? It's to invoke Despair in this main deck. This is a red-black deck with no Trespasser whatsoever. They sell Fago in Poland. I don't know what's Fago. So it's 2 decklists by the same person, I guess. So we don't know which one actually was in the challenge. And you've got a red-black deck, which is pretty classic. I mean, it kind of makes sense to dodge the removals. Game 1 versus red-black. I think Shredder, you know, is overall good. Too good against mono green and the aggro decks to omit. But it is a cool approach. Fago sounds like a Ligma joke, so I'm waiting. If I go, I don't know. Dragon Ratarka, Spirited Companion, Tolsimir, Friend of the Wolves. It's always a joy to read out the deck list anyway, but Dollar Store brand soda from Michigan, home of ICP. What's ICP? Insane Clone
He's a
Posse.
phenomenal
Okay, I see.
control player.
Crazy stuff. 13th place, we see Phoenix deck, which is normal. For the most part. Will I perform Scorch Gaming today? Yeah, unless I see a list that distracts me. Benjamin S with Phoenix. Sahili, Young Pyro, Crackling Drake, Vansis. Solid. Charter Course versus Planning. Charter Course is better. A ceiling of being a draw 2 and can this be serve as a discard outlet, of which you have not many. Although it makes sense to maybe play Strategic Planning in the other deck if you don't have ways to attack. Flossing. Blue-eyed with temporary cockdown, okay. 4 make disappear. 4 Jewelry Disruption. Better to make sure that you have 2 mana up when you play a spell. All every time, so you have 2 mana. Ooh. Heroic. Any new cards? Light of Hope wedding announcement. Not even a single showdown. Błogosławieni będą miłosierni. Brave the LMLS. Normal deck. Mega Bronaldo. Full name. Red black. Normal red black cards. 2 go blank, 2 hairs. Okay. Ooh, Canister 19th place. And Canister 19th place too. What's the difference? I switched to 3 Pyros from the Crackling Drake. Joseph underscore. I think I played against Joseph underscore. Yeah, I did register the tournament twice. This thing happens when you register, drop, and register again. With a different decklist, and it posts both the decklists if you get a result. Played against Joseph, and Joseph just died to my instants and sorceries returning phoenixes. Pretty sure that to think, okay. 3 Sahili, 2 Crackling Drake. Whoa. Next time I will drop and register 10 times and win. Yeah, you could do that. You could like join with trap decks 15 times and then join with the like normal deck. You should do that the next time we play in a tournament. Also, you should do that, chat. Yeah, 60 islands, 60 mountains, 60 forest, 675 traps. I don't know. Could also just like register with Tibalt's trickery, and then with actual decks. You know, if you want to pull people's leg, like actually. Phoenixa, one horse, two cockling drake. Wow, so much Phoenix. So much Phoenix online, kinda worrisome. It's a paper tournament though, it's a bit different. Fourth stroke, wow. What if your opponent plays a free drop spell? Well then tough luck, I guess. Am I going to change my deck for Sophia now? Maybe we'll be ready for Phoenix. Maybe there will be, yeah. Crazy ship playing Sky Sovereigns. I was doing stuff yesterday in the evening, and I was watching Doomwake. In the background, he was just like going on playing some games, and he said that red green boats aggro is probably one of the two best decks in the format. What do you think of that statement? Do you think it's one of the like two best decks in the format? See, Dooming is here. It was such an odd statement to me because I don't know, like that was not something that ever come close to be a consideration in my mind. Like how this, you think this is one of the top two decks in the format? So I'm afraid to ask what's the second one, if that's like one of the two. What is this? Circuit Mender. You went 4-1 your first league, remember? I remember, yeah. So you company and then you Elder Deep Fiends? Prior Bush Tracker times 2. Ogre of Autumn times 2. 2 Elvish Mystic. 2 Llanowar Elves. Yeah. 1 Spectral Adversary. How do they choose the creatures? I guess you go Malvolent Hermit and you sacrifice the Hermit for the Elder Deep Fiend and you gain value by taking it back. Curion Beast Caller too, so you can sacrifice the Beast Caller to the Deep Fiend and that's pretty decent. Because you spread around some counters. I mean, it is 34 creatures and it's probably pretty bad, but it's pretty cool to an extent. 1 Green Warden of Murasa for grindy matchups, 4 Sky Lasher for spirits. Damn. The Smatter of the Provinces for the board stalls. Turn the Earth, I don't know what for Phoenix? You want to reshuffle Phoenix with this? Maybe. No Umori Company. I think Company seems 1000 times better than Umori. Maybe not 1000, twice as good as Umori. I overshot. Companions, like random companions that our bards are gonna be much better in decks with removal than in decks without removal. If you don't trade cards, you just gonna never gonna reach the situation where you actually get your companion to your hand and play it while your opponent is. You and your opponent are both out of resources. What if you cut Kalitas and Sholdred and play Giganta in this deck, bros? Could play Misery Shadow and literally anything other than Sholdred. Scarafranco 27 with Blue White, 28 Humans, 29 Spirits, 30 Phoenix. So I play against this person. They don't have Shredder, so they have 4 Fable. I feel I would like to play at least a league with that. Just to like see how this works. I mean, I think Fable was bad for me when I played it most of the times. It has 3 pieces of the puzzle. Only 1 trespass, 1 iteration. What about cutting trespass and cracking Drake to play Giganta and Phoenix? Trespass better than that. Maybe you could play Giganta sideboard. Let me check my sideboard. No, Brotherhood Sand is red. Okay. Damn, that's kind of close though. If you would be able to play Giganta for red-black, that's not the worst. Not the best either. It's pretty interesting Phoenix deck lists in this challenge. The second one was won by Ready Viking. We see Angels. At least they had Overgrow Farmland. I think it's worth you trade a lot. Yeah, but the sweeper is like, it's too good. I'm not willing to make sacrifices to play Giganta. Like meaningful sacrifices to play Giganta, and that would be a meaningful sacrifice. Thoughts on Wizards ignoring Modern for RC finals yet again? I don't have much thoughts on that. That's kinda because I never expected that to be the case. But it probably would be cool to have a Modern RC. I did look at Reyes. Reyes is actually from Poland too. He's playing in the like tournament in the local Poland tournaments often. I was taking a look today at how is he so good, and I didn't really know. At first sight, Cabezala, Bola, List seems better versus Rakdos and worst versus mono green / combos. Definitely my way was versus green. You have no 2-drops, you have no great plan against them. So second Lotus Field, there's actually a decent amount of Lotus Field around there. Let's just Shatter Phoenix. Rally's advice, Ray Jace Wielder, okay. One Drake. 2 Drakes. Two Ghast. 2 Stroke, fair. 2 Rending Volley, okay. What do you think about two thing in the Ice, Rosemary and Plain and Sideboard and Thiele? I think in post-board games they're only actually good against mono green, so it's a commitment to the mono green matchup. Which it makes sense, like Ross is from the US and then in the US they believe that mono green is literally a mistake not to play and you're an idiot if you're not playing it, so he plays Phoenix. And he like cyborgs and things in the ice because everyone's playing mono green and that deck is broken. So I understand like the point of view. But postboard is not even that good against humans and other creature decks. They always have their own removal that they bring. Alright, let's try the list from that gamer as was. The Fable. Phoenix. We are the robots. Bros, are you the robots? Too bad we can't try the new cards yet. I would play League with Heroic with the new protection spell, for example. Just for science. What is this new list? It's a list that a person played in a challenge this weekend. With Fables, no shaders. Let's try it for a league. It is the last stream, yeah. This is the last stream. Tomorrow is no stream. Thursday I am traveling to Sofia. Then I am staying in Sofia until Monday. Then I'll be back on the Tuesday 22nd. Can I pull it out somehow? Like hide the chats. Then I'm taking a short vacation for 3 days here. 23rd, 24th, 25th. I guess until end of the weekend. So I guess next stream will be in a week, and then the next one will be in a week again. So there's gonna be a little bit of a gap. Hopefully it's gonna be a well-earned one after winning, but that's the strat. So gone, 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 and then 28th is gonna be back. A little bit of a gap. What do you mean? Isn't that what you said? No. Do you also plan to play in Barcelona also? No, I will not play. I will not play there. I'm not going to Barcelona. I am qualified for Naples, so like kinda not incentivized to go, so I don't go. I said gap, as in GAP. Maybe go Barcelona as a caster. Well, if somebody asks me to go there as a caster, then I guess I will, but when is exactly Barcelona? What's your favorite MTG card to sign? I might bring a Sharpie to Sofia. Old Grove Troll. What's my opponent doing? The answer seems to be not much. Currently content creator then, makes sense, yeah. Oh, I play Sholdred, it's so good, by the way. You can see how excited my opponent was to deploy the Sholdred here. They were like, yeah bro, it's so good. Could play Phoenix, or I could Iteration consider. Or Iteration impulsively play under Sholdred or Kalitas. Seems a bit wasteful to play the Phoenix. What about Peasant Cauldron? Sure. Can do that too, yeah. Shoulder, it's so hacking good, bros. Probably not spell piercing anything anymore. Let's keep the Spikefield Hazard. Can maybe use it to return Phoenix. We have the Cruise Graveyard anyway. Fable. Why? For science, bros. And not the person who got a challenge result with Fable, so I can play Fable too. Fable over Cruise. Well, Fable costs 3 mana, Cruise costs 1. I could try to hit the land, but... Doesn't feel like I need to. Not use Axe first. Why would I Axe first? Respect the cat. Thank you for the sub. Miłosierni. Thank you for the sub. I said, no, I meant the raid, you know. Sub raid. Same thing, bros. Sub raid, upgrade, yeah. It's like a third party thing. Anyways. Fable didn't look too bad. My opponent also failed to deploy anything meaningful before the first Shouldered. So they kinda lost this game by playing Shouldered. Just running 4 drops into shocks and then dying. Which is peak Rakdos. They do that sometimes. Miłosierni. Lol, Treadbore. XT. I'm a genius. Błogosławieni miłosierni. Na 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 na. We have so many of those big cards now. Don't have a sweeper, so I can't board into a sweeper. I got Temporal Trespass. Don't have much else that wants to be actively cut now. We just have the Drakes, which is kinda awkward. With no small creatures to draw attention, although I could argue Fable is 1. How many pieces hits in my deck? It's 31. Fry is better than peace. Bro, I don't know what you're talking about. But you're talking in funny ways. Don't want to cut pieces against red black. There would be DA Giganta, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. For the tool reference to your cyber guy was pretty funny. Well, I thought so too. That's why I included it. So I have more free drops. I don't really want to cut one drops. Might need to trim the chart. Maybe spell piece. I had to keep up spell piece with fables.
He's a
Also
phenomenal
easier, but
control player.
not on turn 3, which, you know, makes the fable. When you want to cast it. Blue Sky 92 underscore. Thank you for a tier 1 subscription. I often buy tea from like a local tea shop. Well, not local, like in the supermarket there is like a tea shop. And my favorite tea that I sell is called Bancha Blue Sky. So I often drink that. And your name is Blue Sky, which reminded me of that. Pierce over Galvani, question mark. Not sure which one is a better card, yeah. Cool story, bro, yeah, well put. Hi, Canister, is it normal Fable Saxon Pio? Hi, Tognari Rini. I will answer a question when I understand it. What kind of tea is it? It's a bancha. Which I'm not entirely sure, but it's green tea. And it has like something. Hibiscus. Maybe. Not sure. It's very, very nice. Are you asking why I kept the iteration? I kept the iteration because I wanted to... It's Fuel Cruise. I wanted to... Good draw. Have more answers to Joldred. I think keeping the iteration to fork your impulses to kill Joldred is pretty good. Bancha is a Japanese green tea. It's harvested from the second flush of sencha between summer and autumn. Yeah. Japanese green tea. Bone Crusher Giant is my Fable deck. They will probably play Joldred. They play Bone Crusher. Well, playing Bone Crusher means they don't have another free drop or they have more Bone Crushers. Does not really imply anything about Joldred, I think. Interesting. Here I was, having a pleasant morning watching Canis underscore MTG while he attempted an incredibly juvenile These Nuts joke. Okay. So they don't have more Bone Crushers, so at best they have another push, so you could play the Fable. think Fable lags my PC. Could have shouldered now. Trespasser. So they had to draw the Trespasser and the past 2 draw steps. So I think at this point, if 4-drop is likely, they didn't have a push. So I think their hand is likely to have like maybe like Dreadbore 4-drop, 4-drop even. That seems possible. I don't really want to Romage. Yes, I am deducing cards and then like Nathan Stoyer because that's what I learned from Nathan Stoyer. Maybe Fable is just based, despite what's like my justifications for it not being. Let's play this league. Let's see what happens. It looked pretty decent this game. Opponent was on free lands. Like I guess versus red black specifically. Once the new edition becomes legal soon. Can copy the reflections. I think we just should pieces because pieces fit. Fable doesn't quite work with the sweeper. I think you don't want that combo. Copy Fable end of turn. That seems like a weak way to spend my mana. Like I really don't care for that. Probably could attack with the reflection though. Because the trade is better for me than it is for them. Yeah, I probably should have. Axe pitch bet. No, Axe pitch bet was good too because they die at Age Eldred. Should have done that. I guess do you know today we are 8 billion people, so we can hear Maximus Pericolos masterpiece 7 milliardi without looking cringe. I did not know that. Can make a better DOT, I know, yeah. Sure. So they had extinction events in their hand the entire time. They pitched Dreadbore Heartless Axe, they had Dreadbore extinction event. Might have under 4, but not necessarily anymore. Thank you, Resm, to go for your raid. No, I did not say sub. Seems odd to play any Jayas or Crackling Drake with Fables. Jaya should make 2 monks. Okay. But yeah, Crackling Drake seems kinda like even better with Fable. No, Drake is not for mono green, I think. He's not particularly good there because you don't have great ways to remove Cavalier, so you're gonna just trade for Cavalier. Oh no, Lotus. Better Fable than Shredder? No. I mean, like, Fable looked pretty good against Red Black that game. They were also kind of mana screwed, so we probably would beat them anyways. Strike to make Fable copy better? Yeah. Well, I can assume so, right? But like, yeah, that's the goal. That's what you want out of the Fable. The games versus Rakdos are so much easier when they don't have the turn-free Trespasser. True. Yeah, my opponent just played Bone Crusher Giant into on turn 3, which is extremely weak. It's really, really weak. Fable is not the greatest against Bone Crusher Giant in general, though. Fable also not compatible with the Sweeper, which is a little bit of a downside. Oh, I see my best move to pieces here, it seems like. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Okay, it's only Cruz. So Hilly Drake, so yeah. Siley Drake good too. I think they have 4 cards. We need to copy turns, kill them soon. So I would actually prefer to chart, draw land, and opt. That would be better. And then take extra turns, assuming they like for some reason whip again. That's a land, but a pretty shitty one. Okay, so if I take 2 turns on the next turn, I have 11 cards in my graveyard. If I cast Cruise, I remove 7 cards from my graveyard, so I have 4, so I can't trespass. What I think I need to do is I need to play Spikefield Cave and draw a land next turn, untapped, then go Iteration Trespass, then I want to... Are you locked on with the list you made your guide with? No, I'm not locked. If I have any updates, I'll post them in the... Like, I definitely will post an update tomorrow or Thursday when I get to Sofia. I discuss with my buddies. I'll think about stuff. Can axe leer, so that's a small amount of interaction you can present. So hopefully that would matter. But if you take 2 extra turns, we could do something else. Is that this weekend? Yeah. I mean, an interesting route to try to pursue would be like try to Fable over Pyromancers, something like that. Do I not want 1 Alpine Moon in the sideboard? I don't think it helps much. I don't think it changes much to have the 1 Alpine Moon. But there is a worryingly large amount in the challenges. I think it's a pretty high bar to play this in the tournament actually. So I think we'll be hoping to dodge. And hopefully the Alpine Moon is not gonna be necessary. And then, you know, it's not even that good because they have the Bossejus in their mana base. And you also have to draw it and you can find it. It's okay versus mono green as well. If you're operating under that assumption, then it's more justifiable to play an Alpine Moon. Don't know if... Don't necessarily think that's too good though.
He's a phenomenal control
Because it's kind of
player.
counter productive to all the other cards you have. You would want every hate card in my sideboard, but they can't all fit in. Yeah. Yeah, of course, that's the crux of the issue. Like, I would like the card, but can't quite have the pieces fit. No, the Stone Brain doesn't really work against Lotus. If they add an extra Masterman's Acquisition, they can still just combo through Stone Braining, so... Does anybody know when the Bro will be released on Modo? Yeah, people know. Yeah, you just can't protect us with boss edges, so like given that we just have time to do that, they will just have the boss edge and that kind of free rolls the answer to that. So don't think that's gonna be too great. Just gonna cast a Mastermind's Acquisition from the side, from the graveyard. For us, it's absolutely gonna work, Copium. It's weird they didn't cast a Mastermind's Acquisition to search for the approach in their deck, but they probably can just cast something else and be absolutely fine like this very impulse. I do some trades on MTGO for the first time in 4 years, and today I wake up to my entire collection ticks missing. I guess I've been hacked. Feels bad. Damn. That's rough. What's the best standard deck? I don't know. I have 2 Unlicensed Heirs, which I could have in the deck. I've seen Rest cut the... Sorry for playing slow. First game playing with this deck. Yeah, first game destroyed me. License Heirs does kinda little. Crackling Drake has lots of power, but hard to tap out at 4 mana. So I think we're just gonna leave it at this.
He's a phenomenal control player.
This looks to be my longest relationship ever. Congrats to us less than 3.
Less than 3. Well, I'll keep, I guess. Thank you very much for the resub. There's so much love. This week I've been going through every account I ever had, deleting the ones I don't use and putting others into password manager. I don't actually, never actually use the password manager. Maybe I should too. Maybe I should first like email some like popular password manager and say, hey, sponsor my stream, and probably get ghosted. Hello, Canister, what is your MTGO password? I won't tell you. Well, doesn't do anything. Third land, kinda, you know, stinky. Can draw a hole. I am the manager of passwords. Please provide passwords. Sure. They said that two-factor authentication is going to Modo, but not really a thing yet. I think, right? Thanks for the cyber guide, Canis. I appreciate the insights. You're welcome. I think the insights are kind of valuable. The deck list not necessarily yet. Still lots of thinking being done on and off the stream, and I have no idea. Okay, let's tap out for the Fable, and then hold up counter magic while pounding my opponent. This may be a world where you cut young pyromancers for Fables. Missing on 2 drops versus green then. I think Fable seems really poor against green. Thespian stage and there's the revealed card zone, okay. Any chance I won the second Fable? We definitely want to discard the Phoenix. Ragavan was the Fable Goblin token, would be better or worse? Like, you mean 2-2? Like, do you just mean the attack trigger, or do you also mean being a token and having toughness? 2 toughness? I mean, 2 toughness might make it better, I guess. It's kind of close. But it's just like the trigger attack versus on-hit attack doesn't really matter. So it's just the second toughness versus Ren. I'll discard iteration. Guess we don't even deal damage. Let's play second Fable. I think we can keep. No Pierce. I really wanna stay at your house, chat. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8 mana. So you can keep copy stroke. And copy stroke doesn't do anything. Stroke Pierce. I'll stroke pay for dispute. I could cast under cruise. Well, copy Pierce actually does something though. I see the Timur Murktide deck. I did, yeah. Let's go Stroke with Dispute up. Like, I think the extra power from Fable matters. This turn. No, maybe it doesn't. But I don't think I give up much. Do you find it bad like me? I mean, it's just like Fair Endurance is not a good card. Or at least it wasn't every time I played Modern in the past 2 years, so... When was MH2 released? Was it 2 years ago? No, it was a year and a half. Yeah. So in the last like 18 months, I haven't found Fair Endurance to be a good card, so it seems kind of a weird one to me. Got to stroke this. One consider as well. I didn't see the amount of considers in the deck. Oops, there's a stroke here. Okay, I guess we can win this game. Unless... Unless maybe we face off against... some other stuff. There's 6 mana, discard my hand. But distortion would be beating, yeah. It would beat the meat. Then I die to a State Drake if they distort. They would, yeah. Well, I mean, Fable didn't look too bad against Lotus Field of all things here. I did lose to this person with those Fables in the mirror match. It was a little bit of an inconvenient match. I think I kept 2 little removal and then the goblins made mana from Fable. Was a bit of a problem. What's up and blubbering about? They're being excited about the drakes. Sorry for playing slow. First game playing with this deck, so trying to figure out how it works. How do you like Fable and Phoenix? I don't know yet. Fair, it is interesting though. Here it was pretty good. Do you know if you can choose not to cipher hidden strings? You can choose not to. That's not being mean in chat. Who is he? I'm never mean. I know Da Vinci would play Giganta, Fable, and Moxamber all the same deck. And then you'd achieve Nirvana. Skip this. Not a super hand, but... Here on the draw, we just play Fable on turn 3. That's gonna be a bit slow. Well, I guess. Dispute. Okay, well, hold up dispute, I guess. There is a chance they play an impulse and countering even something like that seems meaningful. I saw Canister at a grocery store in Los Angeles yesterday. I told him how cool it was to meet him in person.
He's a phenomenal
I didn't want to be a
player.
douche or bother him and ask him for photos or anything. He said, "Oh, like you're doing now." I was taken aback, but all I could say was, huh? But he kept cutting me off and going, huh? And closing his hand shut in front of my face. I walked away and continued with my shopping, and I heard him chuckle as I walked off. Yeah, like that happened. Galet89, thank you for the Prime Gaming sub. That is awesome. Getting to trade for any card here is meaningful. That punishes it pretty hard, and you can play the Fable, then have the mana up for counter magic in the future. So I guess I'm gonna end up discarding the chart to my Fable, likely. It's a big problem being Fable and Shredder, and they're not being super compatible. And then mono green really wanting scaling 2-drops and I guess everything else. Aggro decks also wanting Shredder. 1, 2, 3. So this guy's Steam Vents for sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 mana. Get to just like draw 2, keep up stroke. Maybe. Draw 2, draws more counter magic. I mean, this also keeps up stroke and digs deeper. It doesn't really matter to gain card advantage. Spell Pierce good. Are we trying to understand the Fables better than Ledger Shadow? No, not necessarily. But I think, you know, piece of the puzzle asks you to not play both. Can get disputed if this happens. Weak to discard hand. If I cast this, I'm also weak to discard hand. Can easily cut Crackling Drake for sure and keep pieces numbers the same. Well, I think large part of Fable being good is the Crackling Drake too. It doesn't necessarily need to be in the main deck too. Could be in the sideboard. Point sapping 3 black mana, kinda spooky. Well, the value you get is if the Fable is good too, right? You need things to copy. It's no value if you don't. Could find like wipe your hand spell. I probably should have stroked first because I can get disputed now on this. The discard ability has been pretty medium because kind of had not much to discard at times. We cut the charge if we play Fable. Hey, Crackling Drake. Cut charge if you play Fable. This digs deeper for spells, right? Gust or stroke. Well, we get a look at 5 cards anyways with this and this, but we hit a land more often too, which is at all. Because this look at 5 cards is look at 5 cards. Copy Pierce, that's better a bit. Attack into chart in my opinion. It does not matter to draw an extra card at all. In fact, discarding is just better for... I can get the Phoenix or even discard pieces to pump my Crackling Drake's power in the next turn, so I think there's no upside to attack here first. Let's discard the Phoenix and let's cruise. Hopefully they land. Maybe just a full stroke or other gust. Ouch. Alright, just gonna hold up copied Pierce and hope that's good enough to keep me afloat. Yeah. Don't even guarantee killing on the next turn, unfortunately. Greg is gonna be 7, 8, 9 power. Would need to be a bit more power. Maybe the Considers would get there though. We'll see. Green. Sylvan's crying. Okay, that's what you lead on. Dead a Thespian stage. Okay. Copy field. Okay. This is 7, 8, 9, 10. Hopefully misspell draw land. They could bossage my reflection. No way to prevent that. I think I want to spend mana more on this. Because now I want counters. But I want trespass. Trespass would be also game winning. Trespass, trespass. Okay. I mean, I would play two trespasses still. I'll take a bathroom break. Yeah, it looks solid. The events mirror, no, mountain. Creativity. Don't have land number 3, so that's gonna go to my graveyard. No, I have land number 4, I wish I had Fable. Hi Master, hello, Fantoman 95. Added wydech, ugory, żurawie, ritual FM. Sounds interesting. What anime will you watch this season? I am continuously watching Spy X Family, although it's getting like more and more lame. Which episode? It's kind of like episodic, less funny than it used to be. So in the mirror, I don't really want the Crackling Drake, I think. It looks to be on creativity to me. Yeah. I guess I knew that. I just say they are on creativity, but then I just kind of like ignored that. I got distracted and ignored that, but they're obviously creativity. They play the mountain. The Phoenix decks don't play mountain. Big score. Big moves by my opponent. Big scores. Otawara is actually kind of valuable. Discard Fire Impulse. Don't have a EOT thing to do, the creativity. I could keep Otawara, but that's kind of terrible. Could hit pieces, spell piece with this. I think we're gonna take that risk. If we don't hit and they have the combo, then tough luck. Alright, let's play the cave. think bluffing interaction is the only play. I think bluffing interaction is a bad play because then my opponent gets to do things. Like, I'm not even bluffing interaction, I have interaction. Now they load up on lobster, so they do that. Free strokes. We just want minimal removal versus Fable tokens. They don't actually have great removal for the Drake. I probably want interaction in those ways. Like, stroke is kind of stinky. This can hit Fable too. You can do this. Nah, Braid is terrible, I think. I guess, although we could have a Braid for the reason being that you can upgrade a treasure token or a Fable Goblin. Well, it was a bit interesting. If Spell Pierce was stopping creativity, would you play creativity possible Spell Pierce? Oh, you mean like holding the Spell Pierce, yeah. Passing with 4 mana would be bad, but... there was like real tangible reward from the top land if they don't have the creativity, right? In hindsight, of course, you know that they had the creativity, so like easily you're gonna play into that. You have too many sorcery speed cards. So yeah, passing with 1 stuff is debatable. Axe is better against sharks. Make Sailboat Fable? No. This is obviously Mulligan. This is gonna be a keep. But yeah, I was saying that keeping 4 mana up is pretty obviously, for the Otawara, is pretty obviously not a move that I can make. But I think you're right, I should have played an untapped Shockland. Like, I did get to play Tapland, which was convenient that they don't have the creativity, but the odds are probably pretty decent that they do. Ready, red land. Can cantrip twice on the next turn, so let's do that. Is there a broad draft at DRC? There is not, no. It's all Pioneer. Only the PT is gonna have drafts. kind of want the Elder Gas, but I think pitting the land is a more important thing to prioritize. I would want the gas so that I can go Fable now, and if they play their own Fable, I can kill their Fable token. Or their Lul, yeah, or their Lul. Hopefully they don't have Spell Pierce. It's the most normal place I've had on Cancer stream, bro. You just can't come into the chat and say that. And be all like that, like, oh yeah, Cancer stream, haha, normal music, Lamau. Weird jump, Kekove. So you're gonna discard Phoenix. You don't have great discards otherwise. Would like to play the other Fable. While playing Fable. Check my title. It's also true and you know it. No, but I'll explain to you why it's not okay. By saying that, you are implying that the music is not normal. Because you use the word normal, which is less offensive than, bad. So you're implying that the music is like not cool, not good most of the time. And that's kind of not cool. Maybe I can discard Cruise. Yeah, I think I'll discard Drake. I want the lands. What is this? Typhoon X1, divide by 0. Tak. No pokaż.
No ale nie chcę przyjść.
Aha, no to nie zobaczę.
On tak leży.
No niestety nie zobaczę go teraz.
Bo leży tak. Człowiek, kurwa. Wow, Fear Impulse my token. Okay, so you don't gonna to Cruise. We can keep Otawara. Treasure Cruise Reno. Shit draws. Bros, I need a Fable to fix my draws after I discard this Cruise. Ironic. Wow, that's so bad. Should have played a Hall too. Sorry, my focus wasn't fully on this game.
Yeah, 3 cards only. And you at least get to threaten the reflection copying, I guess. But it was quite bad not to play the hole here, but the storm card goes for no reason. Tosser deck have a way to get rid of worm if they draw it and still combo. You can discard the worm with like any discard outlet. Like worm goes to the back of the deck when discarded, so that's not a problem. The problem is maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Punish for not playing the hole. Sort of, not really. You're gonna have the up to return the thing. The bigger problem is Xenagos, but you can cast Xenagos with a treasure. Although it's a bit inconvenient, yeah. Postboard you can also switch to Hullbreaker Horror, for example, which is possible that they did. Blessed by Kager, a Tide Star. Kikijiki would be in one day master the art of duplication. Yeah. How are you at mastering the art of duplication, bros? Sure. Skip the opt for Phoenix returning. Yeah, cast Teaching of the Archaics, draw cards. Draw 2, yeah. How can there be a reflection of the mirror breaker if he breaks all the mirrors? Does a broken mirror not reflect anything? Have you entered the card flow state yet? No pieces cast. Kinda struggled actually this game to enter it, so was maybe next turn if we fit something good of the Fable. It's an argument for casting the up now. Fable seems to be kind of an avulse body. I don't know the meaning of that word, so okay, I don't know any mirrors really. Is that really the case? You don't have any mirrors in your house? Oh, maybe sunny house. I'll probably cast Trespass. Can go Trespass. Attack with Phoenix. I only have one copy in the deck. Copy card in the deck. So you take an extra turn, now we can chart. So we probably don't need the Otawara anymore. No, we do want the Otawara, just in case. We draw 2, then we untap. Flip Fable. Canister wins. I only take 1 turn, not 2 turns. Interesting. So I divide by 0. I guess I cut a piece of the puzzle, so it makes it harder to enter the card flow state. Also, Crackling Drake, not as good against... It's not as good against... Divide by 0, I think. It's in Jaya cringe. It is. I just copied a deck list from my person entirely. Decided not to change it up. Two removals. I don't tend to like Drake in the matchups where you board in all the 2 mana counters. It's hard to tap out. I agree. You don't tend to like it. Jaya question mark? Very good question. Well, I didn't board in all the 2 mana counters. I don't have the third stroke. Just it stroke doesn't actually work against many cards they have. And if they board the shrimp, the 7-8 shrimp, it also can't be countered. You had high hopes for Jaya. I'm not sure if I had high hopes for Jaya, but Fable Pog or not, it's been pretty decent, the matchups I played. We haven't played against any aggro. I think it's gonna be hurting a lot against aggro. But I think also against mono green. Against mono green, you need the 2 drops on 2. Just feels like Fable against mono green is pretty lackluster. Hard to get the attacks in. It doesn't really accomplish much. But I'm thinking about maybe Fable sideboards. No, Shredder seems insane. I mean, I determined like that Shredder is kind of bad against red-black, for example. If you don't have other supportive creatures. Which is tough. It's hard to put the puzzle together. I don't know if the pieces fit. If I wanted to watch the Pioneer King, I would watch Todd Anderson, okay. You had a dream to play both versus red-black in the sideboard, and who's gonna crew it? 3 spells, return Phoenix, beginning of combat, crew the bolt attack. Sounds like a fever dream. Yeah, I wanted to cast a cantrip end of turn, but suddenly no cantrips. You're probably gonna cast Divide by 0 if I cast this. There's not much point in actually casting a Fable now. I feel like. Because I don't think they're gonna have a great punish for 3 mana. And 4 mana they have the discard card, make 2 treasures, big score. And likely they're gonna just end up passing. Okay, so they absolutely have divide by 0 in hand. And next turn I can go Fable, Pierce. They might have removal in hand. And before opponent has a Pierce. Well, that's possible too, but then I'm okay with that. Free mana. Okay, so that's how they have indeed the that they don't cast a spell pierce indeed. So I have 2 things to discard, I have 2 cruises. If we divide, we pierce, that's great. If they pierce, then we kinda get in an awkward spot, but next turn we can pieces. It's the best Will Smith song, and why is it Men in Black? Could pierce that actually. But I don't think there is need to. It does let them draw an extra land, but I think we're gonna get a better pierce target if they have the 4 mana make treasures to pull ahead. Or they play their own Fable. That would also be awesome for me to counter. So we go pieces of the puzzle, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we take only 1 card from pieces, and we have a chance to return 2 phoenixes. Seems solid. We also discard just 1 phoenix, but that doesn't seem better. Okay, we failed to draw a land drop, but we have 3 looks with cruise. Let's take Galvanic Iteration, Lightning Axe, probably. DBH. Oh no, I was supposed to only take 1 card. Stupid me, bros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fuck. Alright, let's hit a land with this. I get so easily distracted by the shiny lightning axe. I should have just taken the iteration only and dealt away the lightning axe. Well, that's a land. Okay, well, congrats me for the top land summoning here. Spire Bluff Canal. If you say anything on the Spire Bluff Canal, Da Vinci, you're gonna get punished. You can, I guess, divide this. Awkward, but it's fine. Should play Fairy Islet, bro, okay. I know the pieces fit, because I've seen pieces fit. Finding the parrot path is better than pieces. I've played with finding the parrot path, it's not... Like, it's doubles on being weak to graveyard hate, so... That kinda... crosses it off in my eyes. Anger of the Gods, solid. Or Relaxac. Sure, you should play Crackling Drake plus maximize velocity. I kinda would like to, but I don't know if I should play it. That one I'm kinda doubtful about. I wonder what you see did to like the person who does that. What if we cut the Phoenix and run 8 Drakes with Fable? 8 Drakes is not good, the second Drake is pretty bad. Would you say this list is considerably worse against green? It should be, yeah. Not having a single 2-drop to play on turn 2, you're just kinda giving... Should probably get owned by that. So you kinda lack a cohesive plan, and Fable shouldn't really get any attacks against mono green. This guy got Shredder, yeah. I mean, you can have Shredder and like this at the same time, I feel like. Not main deck. Oh, let's try it out. Let's see if I get destroyed. Can kill the elf, but there is no elf to kill. Fall is kind of awkward sometimes. Why it's just tapped, untapped here? It wasn't awkward this game, right? Has Clotis ever been a problem as Blue Red Phoenix? I never played against it, but I don't think I would be particularly concerned. But yeah, like this not being a shredder here, I think with a shredder here I'm in a decent spot. With Fable I'm kinda dead. Double red on turn 2, yeah. Yeah, then it's a bit awkward maybe. I was thinking of playing just one hole, but I think it's useful often enough. But there is a pretty high amount of top lands in the deck. I'm on Gearhulk Opus control. Is Maximize Velocity Drake a combo, and is it better than Opus? Probably. Hall was not awkward here. What would you want me to do? Deep cast Fire Impulse and Spike Wheel Hazard on the troll, deal a total of 3 damage to it, and pass a turn back to my turn, and then the troll, that damage gets removed from the troll? Is that what you wanted?
He's a phenomenal control player.
Treasure awkward in combat. A bit. I guess we're gonna go Consider. Kill the troll. Attack Kiora. This is not the time walk combo. It doesn't really do anything. I have cards. I could pay 2 life. I think the top line is okay. Arderson Claire, thank you very much for your subscription. We can get Phoenix next turn with the opt, and we get a top lands, like that's fine. Next turn we can go pieces opt, card from pieces, or from draw step, or from opt. Return any extra Phoenixes. Attack down Kiora. They don't have Nyctos, so we can battle with them. That seems like they're playing a Cavalier, which probably likely draws them Nyctos. They did not hit the Nyctos. Good for me. They have 2 storms in the... Okay, whoops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Devotion. Can untap with Kiora. Add +7 mana, 17 mana. Okay, card nodes. Okay, guess we die. I should respawn FD up to the card node. That was F6, but I guess you should. That Pharaoh statue, yeah. That's valid too. I'm happy to have been paired against mono green to try the Fable against that. I guess I'll add a chapter to the guide about the Fable adventures in this league. I think we can safely scoop here against 2 storms in the graveyard and Fable. So what do we need to do against mono green? We need to board my counters. Well, I want to keep a combo. Probably like 3 Mondos. Need to kill them, so I could use the Drakes to kill them, but it's gonna be hard to tap out for them. I have to cut cards, so I'm gonna cut the Axis. Only 1 Trespass, kinda not nice. Upgrade? Very good question. I typically don't like upgrade versus mono green because it doesn't kill any important cards. Fable's good versus mono green, doesn't seem like that's the case. Here's where I would rather have Gust and Stroke, because I would Gust their turn to play in this spot, but I can't Disdainful Stroke the Wolflow Haven. That's kinda like the thing. Grafdigger and Statue? Question mark? Very good question. In most games that you win, they don't even get to create Karn artifacts for you versus you. And you have alternative ways of dealing with that, as in you can counter the Karn. Or the statue. Fable was atrocious when I played Blue-Red Drakes versus Green. Yeah, I agree. It looks pretty bad. I mean, I guess here maybe it doesn't look that bad at this point. I want to keep all my cards. Maybe I want to discard Fable and play the Drake. Well, so I want to keep up Stroke. So I want to discard things. So I actually don't want to play the second Fable. That doesn't seem very beneficial. The Drake we're gonna keep for the reflection purposes. Let's take an okay draw so we can attack Kiora. Yeah, had they played a troll, I can't even attack. They play Kiora, then we can attack Kiora. Not super meaningfully, but a bit. But now we should be able to counter their plays for the rest of the game and win. Unless they play trolls. Troll is my blind spot. Feels like they would have played a troll into this rather than Kiora though, so I expect them not to have troll. Oh yeah, play this Cavalier, bro. Stroke it. To attack Kiora. But I think keeping up Stroke Pierces is good. Next turn can play Drake. Drake is not that good with only 3 power, but hopefully they play Storm, so I get to spend a Spell Pierce and not a Stroke. So they very nicely just play into my counter magic in like the best possible way. Is there anything from Bro to try out in Phoenix? It's just slightly better Sweltering Sands and slightly better Lava Coils, so you don't really even need to try those cards. Why not attack with Fable? If my opponent doesn't play into my counter magic, I can end of turn copy Crackling Drake. So I am willing to give up 2 damage to do so. Or if they don't play into my Stroke exactly even, they could play into my Spell Pierce. When does Bro go live on MTGO? In 2 hours 30 minutes, I think. Doesn't this version of Fable feel much better than the other ones, or is it just your impression? Well, it is certainly your impression. Question, is it good to lose to a treasure to copy a Drake? I mean, obviously it is. It seems like a non-question to me. Gonna kill them next turn likely if we copy the Drakes now. We draw a spell. Even if we don't draw a spell. I don't know, like it worked well. Does the cyber plan change between play and draw? I don't think I have enough cards to change between play and draw, like what am I gonna do? I need something to take over the game, so I think I'm gonna keep the Fable. Even though it's kinda rough to tap out. Maybe I should trim a Cruise. Just have the 3 Drakes to be able to hit them. Because I don't have the Time Walk combo readily available. Which is 1 copy. I think Axe versus Hearse is 2, but we have 6 removals anyways. This hand has no plan, no removal for an elf. We go Landrep, Consider, they go Kiora or Troll. And what do I do? Cry. Small to 5. Awesome. Awesome, bros. Put back Phoenix, put back probably Trespass, given the nature of this hand. Kinda aggro mooling and getting a bit maybe punished. Not sure. If we draw a Spire Bluff Canal, we are actually in the game. Fellas, is it gay to use a treasure token? Not really. Okay, so you don't have a free drop. One could infer from their hands, but neither do we. So they're likely gonna play Cavalier, maybe they will miss a land drop, maybe they have Carnot, maybe they have Storm. Maybe they have 3 Storms in hand, that would be the hope. Or nothing, maybe they just flooded. Interesting. Okay. So, no Cavalier, no Troll, no Karn. So it has to be Storms. Storms or lands in their hand. That's the only cards that make sense. They played Nykthos. They could have multi-Nykthos. They held the Nykthos till turn 3. It makes sense for them to have extra Nykthos in hand, yeah. So Storms and lands. Boseju. Okay, play Forest. Oath of Nissa. So they had a Forest in hand, they drew Oath of Nissa. They could have Teferi or Bolas. That is true, yeah. Those make sense too if they play them. Teferi's Bolas. Put Scar on the great content creator. Seems like they're just playing what they got, so... Okay, so I think they're just flooded. I think they most likely have 2 lands in hand right now. They most likely have 2 lands right now. Could obviously top deck. No, I don't think they have Land Storm. They would have played a Storm over the Elf of Nissa if they played the current to Spell Pierce. I don't think they have Storm. Gonna activate Woeful Heaven now. Okay, they have Storm. Maybe they had it? But that seems weird to then... Well... Okay, I guess it is also consistent. They could have had Storm. Pretty lucky though. Oh, an extra elf. How did the extra? So they drew the elf. Okay, so they had Landstorm indeed. So kinda got. What happens if they flashback Storm and I guessed it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's exiled. It's just always exiled, right, with flashback. Let's see if it's exile on Magic Online. Enter the exile zone, yeah. I wonder what they clicked. Yeah, they've got the second Nyctas, but that was off the top. They can attack for 5 with the Lair of the Hydra. It's a problem. They draw off of Nissan. Why do I say off of Nissan? Is Nissan a... Nissan is a car brand, right? Nissan. Yeah. That's why I say that. Kiora Behemoth Beaconer, okay. JH Kiora. The clues have begun to reveal a truth I hesitate to accept. I never seen this flavor text. So they play the other Kiora and they make a 13-13. What's my car? It's Peugeot 208. Oh wow, they make a wall for activating the lair? Just make a 6-6. Or if you need to haul some Lambert. Yeah. Kind of don't want to discard pieces. But I probably need to. Tenacious D. Hacking don't like Tenacious D. Hope they don't top deck anything meaningful for the rest of the game. I can't afford that. Can use Goblin Shaman tokens as champ blockers with Fable. Yeah, activate the Slayer of the Hydra, bro. Activate it hard. So Goblin Fable doing like the worst young pyromancer impression here. So there is a chance, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a chance we hit a counter spell. Have a Kiora and Unknown. Maybe another Kiora if they didn't play land. Maybe Nyctas. Because we can take 4 and block and attack again on the next turn, and that's 6, 7, 8, and it would need to be 12. 6, 7, 8. Potentially 9, and then should be pretty easy to kill on the next turn. Or you can play the second Drake to like kill through Cavalier too. No, well, doesn't kill for Cavalier necessarily. Can't we just win with Champ with second Drake, copy it next turn? Well, if I cast the cantrips now, I get to maybe find a Disdainful Stroke to protect myself from their top deck. Which seems better to me. Can also limit the amount of mana they have pretty drastically now. Iteration Impulse, kill elves. Attack with Drakes on Kiora. Do any of their top decks speed the 2 Drakes in Reflection play? Yeah, like... I don't know, Karn? Karn not really, I guess. Storm. Well, Storm can easily beat that, they can easily just combo. Cavalier into Storm. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I kill the elves, they're gonna have a harder time comboing, so... It looks pretty decent to do that. I think the Drake is kinda good overall. Like, even in this matchup, it's pretty good this game. I wouldn't want to put it in. I guess we can die to Boseju now. That's gonna be bad if we die to Boseju. Haven't thought of that. I guess Boseju with the second Drake is better. Well, hope not Boseju. Although how much mana they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they have 2 devotion right now. They have 6 mana. So if they Boseju, they can also then make 1, 2, 3, 4. They can have exactly 5 damage. Okay. Hi Canister, how you see Def in Texas now in Modern? I don't. Also I need to draw a spell to actually kill them with the Crackling Drake now. But it seems like we got a pretty decent odds of winning, and like it does make it harder for them to straight up combo from Storm. Well, killing Kira plays around Boseju, but it doesn't kill them too. So it doesn't really play around that. Because then we have a well, I mean, it does give me on top. Remember when opponent missed 5 damage to make a useless wolf? It was a pretty bit weird move, yeah. Also, less mana, less devotion. Look at the spirals on the wolf, though. Weird spirals. But I agree, the wolf making by them was pretty odd. Okay, spell me win. So I could Galvanic Iteration, but I think we can draw a 1-drop spell from this, so I'm just gonna go opt. Okay, top. Damn, won this barely, but won this. Fable was very good this game, wasn't it? I wouldn't say it was very good. It was pretty bad this much that it was not a free drop, but it was not like terrible. As this list felt worse in the regular list despite being 4-0. Not really. It felt pretty decent. Also cheated with the other gas. What do you mean? We did copy a Drake with reflection. We did go end of turn copy Drake, untap copy Drake, attack for 15. Against red black it looked very good at least, but red black was super weak draw. Presented a super weak draw, it just died. Mono green matchup looks tough still. Well, I think the mono green matchup is good for the 2-drop Phoenix. I feel pretty comfortable with it. I think I won it the last 7 times I played it, maybe more. So with this, it does look a bit shaky, yeah. Got 546 chests. Should we open all when Bro releases? What about playing Lesson 4 Fable? Yeah, it's also a thing to consider. Or just play them in the sideboard. I think playing 1 to 2 is ideal. If we take the list I played in the challenge yesterday, things I didn't really like super love. So I would say I didn't like love those cards that much. Also, Sweltering Suns is a kind of a non-bow with Fable, which is a problem, I think. Not Sweltering Suns, Brotherhood's End. Having a turn to creature against mono green is very important in my opinion. I agree. It's just true. Yeah, you need 2 drakes to... I think. Do you think Fallaci Archaeologist could see play with Fable? Mill 3, put a non-creature non-land into your hand if you don't put a counter on Fallaci. Yeah. I mean, there's like deck building incentives, different directions. At this point, let's just cut Phoenix and go all in on the mid-range Drake plan. Yeah, I don't think that's great. Artifact aggro for the 5-0. I played the Pathway over an island, which was terrible. Got me good, bro. I would like to ask a question to this ornithopter. The black stuff of water, deep, 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 deep. Do we take cruise? I think we take cruise. Next turn can consider cruise. Impulse even. Michiko's Reign of Truth. Truing. Other impulse doesn't seem to accomplish much. We have better cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why wouldn't you play red for Shrapnel Blast? Well, you simply just don't. You can attack. They have 2 pain lands. They can attack me for some damage if they block stab the clue token, but then we take the damage and it's fine. We're crackling main now too. I mean, I just copied a deck list from a challenge. So we're trying the deck list for the idea that they had. Just put Fable in the deck for head. I saw they land more, they had 22 lands. Aberrate seems okay against the artifact deck. We technically are a white and blue deck. So you can hit what, Michiko with this? How does pieces function here? There's no shredder, so it's like Fable over shredder, right? You have a large amount of pieces. Like you have the same amount of pieces, it's because you cut the non-creature non-hits for non-hits. 32. I guess it's 32 versus 33. So you don't really have fewer targets. Pierce seems like it fits there. There's less combo, which I don't love. Combo pretty good. Oh, there's a Pioneer Palm now, damn. Let's just cut the charts, maybe. Or pieces, not to have too many free drops. I do think 3 pieces like 4 Fable or 4 pieces free Fable, that's kinda like... too much free drops, too many free drops. What targets for Spike Field? They have 1 toughness creatures. Just got Arclight just as Nathan suggested. If they play Rest in Peace, that is kinda viable. Turn 2 Scissors. Seems like turn 2 activate my Mutavault to play Toolcraft Exemplar with Spiraling Leaf Drum type deal at best. Also, we have a Braid, so... Wait, I guess the Dark Citadel doesn't really care about the Braid. In that case, we have a Braid, but it might not matter. Lol. They doing it.
He's a phenomenal control player.
What happened in Spectoire? Okay. I don't need to cast it now, but we could have.
3 mana Prab Inspector, yeah, 5 mana to cycle it. Bet they thought about playing a 2-2 Stone Call. Then they would have just played 2-2 Stone Call and the Prab Inspector. I think it's unreasonable to expect Stone Cold to be in their hand now. Definitely a nice mana base moment, yeah. Well, now they have the Stone Cold, so maybe you were right. But that sounds unreasonable to me. Or they drew it, they missed the land drops, they could have drawn the Stone Cold. Now they drew Ornithopter there. They play Unlicensed Horse. If they attack with the Stone Cold, do I block with the Goblin Shaman token? They don't attack. So you can take the draw step. I mean, my shock's deal 3 damage, so your theory seems made up. Let's kill the Unlicensed Hairs. Because you're gonna be discarding 2 Phoenixes. They didn't play the hairs, just activate the mutable, that seems so weak. Let's play a second Fable this turn. You might have the like pay 1 more. Stubborn Denial. Annoying. But it's okay. You have 7 power. If they activate Mutavault. Oh, Hallowed Fountain drawn. 1 card in hand. Hopefully not enchant the Citadel. It is enchant the Citadel, leave the Mutavault untapped weirdly. I guess I could have cut the Trespass combo, I didn't. Can't bounce the Citadel. Could play the Drake. Jump. Block. Go to 1. Then have copy Drake. Can opt, that seems weak. Bounce Citadel. Then I need to block with my both goblins. Leaves them with a Toolcraft Exemplar and their top deck. Well, I mean, Crackling Drake to win next turn. I mean, this is true. If they draw nothing, then I can jump. Block the 3-2, take 4, go to 1. Then if I go Reflection, copy Drake. I draw a card, I have 5. I have 6 power, 7, 8 at least. And I can also get the Phoenixes back next turn for lethal.
Stonecoil has reach and trample, which is a problem. They can just not attack with the Stonecoil. But that's also okay. Reach protection from multicolored. We can try shock though. I think Drake seems okay, yeah. Let's see what we draw of the Drake. Pieces. Okay, so with pieces, I think I'm incentivized to play Otawara. If they keep this back, then we can find a removal spell, kill this attack with the Drakes. Pieces fuels the Drake super hard, returns the Phoenixes. I want 6 mana to pieces copy, pow pow. Protection from Crackling Drake, card sounds OP, yeah. That kills me. But keeping a Otawara also was killing me. I'm gonna cut the combo and I'll have the Crackling Drake and we're gonna have Dispute maybe. All that glitters equals Shrapnel Blast. Yeah, sort of. Bros, I have a question to you. There's like TikTok format videos. I don't have TikTok, but they also appear on YouTube and on Facebook. I don't know how to send. They're like rolls or like shorts, etc. I sometimes click them and they appear to have no volume control bar. Is that purposeful? Shadow would put in so much work in this matchup, I agree. How to mold this, I think. Definitely like sad not to have Shredder. It just doesn't. Yeah, but I always like have my PC, like I just have everything set to like low volume kinda. Like I watch YouTube videos with 30% volume being the default, which means that like shorts stuff is gonna be very, very, very loud. So typically it just blasts me with some decibels. And I find it very inconvenient that I can't control that. I want to play Drake on 4.
I hate when a website doesn't have a volume bar and will immediately add it to a blacklist of sites that are now blocked on my network. Okay. So like you block YouTube. Space of your video volume, you can lower the volume in a normal video and then go back to shorts with lower volume. Well, that wasn't my experience, but maybe that is true. Yes, because everybody watches TikToks on their phone, so you can use your phone's volume control. Makes sense. Don't watch shorts, yeah. It's a reasonable tool, but sometimes just a juicy thumbnail, hard not to click. Seems like we're not cruising. Don't like shorts, I prefer longs. That's a very funny comment, but also truthful. I'm kind of thinking of playing some Fire Blessed Bolts or Fire Impulse. Like Fire Impulse can kill a Shredder in the mirror, so it's not even straight up better in the mirror. How would you rank the one blue Jace, Kaladesh, Chandra, Crackling, and Young Pyro's alternative win cons? Chandra is unplayable in my view. Jace is fine, but I don't like Planeswalkers as I explained in my guide much. Crackling Drake is the best ever. It's functional versus both aggro and control, and it's a card advantage card and also just kills in one hit. So it has the Planeswalker property, but the payoff is higher when it works. Tapping out, they could enchant their stuff, which would be rough. It seems like I can actually die to artifacts aggro, which is awkward. Young Pyro is a bit of a different thing. Young Pyro is a cheap card. I don't think I would want to play 3 Young Pyro. But yeah, I think it's generally better than Sahili. Sahili is a bit low power. Hopefully they don't play a second one. Yeah, Sahili does those things, but I think I would rather solve that problem by just not playing that many copies of the... of those cards. I would if I would not play as many pirates too. Then I would not be worried about lockdown, I think. Why friend the cyber instead of running volley? I net decked a less fries, or I wouldn't play it myself. But I net decked a person from the challenge. Just didn't want to change anything to just see the full picture from their list. But yeah, Sahili Hackling Drag is also kind of based. But I think Sahili is kind of hard sell to play over Fable. I wouldn't do that. Damn, Brotherhood's End would be so good. It's my point stack, by the way. That would just snap die. So Fable and sideboard, it's an option. One of the options, yeah. So doesn't seem good, I need an axe. Oh, awesome. So I can discard Impulse. I can kill a Stonecold Serpent, discard Impulse. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. No, not enough mana. 3 mana Shatterstorm is legal for Sophia. It is gonna be a... Well, that's what I'm saying. The Brotherhood's End would just mop the Stonecold Serpent matchup. It's gonna be like all that glitters. No, no other hairs. Okay. How good is it versus Mono Green Rakdos and Mirror? Well, it isn't. Brotherhood's End is... Well, it's great against Rakdos. Alright, opponent, you owned me. No 5-0 for the Fable list. Thoughts on Fable? Looked good as a sideboard card. Can't play... Like, don't want to play too many.
About one unlicensed heirs. No, I can't fit it. There's no way I can fit it. I don't think so. Like, it's so low priority to me. I mean, it's okay for the mirror, but just don't do that in the mirror. Fable for which matchups? The grindy matchups. The fourth cruise is for red black. And versus mono green now, we would do 3, 4 in. I swapped to Iconoclast because I added a non-creature card that triggers it. Otherwise, if I wouldn't play the Fable, then I would play Pyro because it's colorless soldier artifact tokens versus Brave the Elements versus Dispute. Did the free underperform? I haven't tried the free. I tried Fable instead. Fable performed solidly. Yeah, volley too. Yeah, sure. You can still play Pyro. Like I know about it. You can still play Pyro with Fable. Kind of intuitively makes sense to swap to make your deck internally consistent though. Have you tried Sprite Dragon? No, I don't really have interest in Sprite Dragon. Have I tried Blue Black Survival in the end? No, I devoted my meme league to something else. I think we played Angels. Then maybe Katsuma Braids. Why? I mean, I want to answer hers. Brotherhood's End and Fable is all with a non-bo. So is Brotherhood's End and Iconoclast. But I think I would rather have, many answers to hers than few. But I guess it is not... Like, you could cut one Abrade, you could go to Abrade. Do we silent Brotherhood's End versus Control? No, why? Brotherhood's End, second class kills Iconoclast tokens, 1 point for Pyro, yeah. No, you don't want to use a free mana, like 3 damage super to kill Planeswalkers. That's just not gonna be good. And there's also a chance to like swap like 1 impulse for a Flame Blast Bolt maybe. You didn't manage to make him change impulse to also Planeswalkers before Sophia? Yeah, it sucks. Burn down the house is cool, yeah. I don't think it's necessarily good.
It's against red black. I'd have like 8 cards. Probably kind of points me towards replacing the cruise with a grindy card. With a mono green card. I kinda don't want to play Iconoclast either because of the artwork. Just doesn't vibe as well. Like Young Pyro, I'm used to it. New cards should become legal in 1 hour 30 minutes, yeah. What now you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. I merely propose expanding our toolbox. So, you know, both are just a guy. I guess, like, I think when Pyro was new, I also used not to new it, so it's just like being used to the card. Because if you zoom on Young Pyro, it kind of looks kind of weird too. I think he's just wearing a Chandra wig. If you zoom in, no, I haven't said that, Zerk. Do you not like it because of your resemblance to Young Pyro? Yeah. And it does look like a wig. It like I think it looks similar in the Kaiba wig. But if you zoom hard, Young Pyro actually is wearing a Chandra portrait on his neck, in his necklace. Because he's a big fanboy of Chandra.
He's a phenomenal control player.
Young Pyro is a simp.
Whoa. You can't say that word on Twitch. Please unsubscribe immediately. Emulation is the sincerest form of flattery, and he's like, what? What's the flavor text here? When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. I merely propose expanding our toolbox. It would be cool if this card was playable in Modern Hammer, and like when all you have is a hammer, and you could just cite it and say, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And it's just, I don't know. It's not even funny, but just this uses the same word. It's not even like no punchline, just reference. Why does Young Pyro dress so risk? Good question. Guess he's a pyromancer, so he's very warm, so he doesn't wear many clothes. Third path Iconoclast though. I think the third path is the pacifist faction, like the third path, choosing no Urza, no Mishra, but not a war. Not war. And this guy makes soldiers, which is, if my understanding of that is correct, and I don't know if that's like making soldiers is the most pacifist option. I guess you need to like enforce the people to attack you somehow. Sought neutrality in the Brothers' War. Okay, it's just sought neutrality, so that's neutrality. That's, I mean, same thing. Not same thing, but like, I guess. Yeah.
The Union was an alliance of magic users, historians, intellectuals, and artificers from across Tertiaire and Dominaria. What is Tertiaire? So the continent? Tertiaire was a large continent in the northern hemisphere of Dominaria, positioned in the middle of the ocean, halfway between Shiv and Aerona. Tertiaire is the setting of the expansions Antiquities, the Dark Ice Age, Alliance, and Cold Snap, as well as portions of the Urza block and the Novel Thran. In the modern age, it is sometimes referred to as the Lost Continent, or as the Tertiaire Isles. Why is it lost? Because they lost their entire continent. It's lost because it broke apart. In the Dark Age, during the time of the Dark, the devastation that followed the Brothers' War had left the once mighty nations in ruin. Civilization had been reduced to a handful of loosey-goosey aligned city-states, all ruled under the puritanical Church of Tal. Goblins and bandits stalked the roads between those cities, and winter seemed to last longer, and etc. It's not lost, it's just been ignored by every single piece canon material since the Mirage era. Yeah. Mighty nations in ruin. Latinam in the far west, now almost connected with the mainland due to decreasing temperatures and water level. Alright, there's 1 hour and 20 minutes till the set releases on mod. I could join a league with old cards. Or we could read lore. Or I guess I'll take a bathroom break first. And maybe then I'll eat dinner. Let's see. Take a break, come back fresh, and stream later. I guess that makes sense. I could just finish the stream and I could stream again when the cards release for another league. Yeah, that's a good idea. Alright, we're gonna be finishing the stream. I'll come back in an hour and a half. Because kinda like too little time to play full league, too little time to do other stuff. Look, Canister just jumped in. How was Fable? It's pretty good actually. I'm thinking of like playing a red-black Fable, like Crackling Drake Fable sideboard against red-black. Leave the shredders in. Also should be okay versus Leyline. Can just AFK with an hour and a half timer to maintain viewership. Is it just a good tool against Graveyard Hate? Well, so I played a league with a list from right here when I lost against this person this challenge. I played that challenge on Saturday and I lost to them. You know, the main Crackling Drake's kinda... I don't think it always impresses, and I think I like the combo. I don't think having as many free drops is particularly great. And I think I would still like to stay focused on piece of the puzzle, but you know, I shit talked a Twitch chatter in Ask Canister Anything this weekend saying, oh yeah bro, you don't understand, Fable is just really bad, but it wasn't bad. It's pretty good actually. This league helped beat. We went 4-1, we lost in the last round. Partially because we didn't have Brotherhood's End. If we had Brotherhood's End, then we would have probably destroyed them. I think in this deck, in this cyber, we could consider switching the crews to an extra mono green card, so it could be another Iconoclast. I think you shouldn't tap out for Drake turn 4 game 3 and you maybe win. Well, I mean, the tapping out part wasn't too bad for me. For the Drake, right? The Drake was... I don't think I had like luxury of waiting. Maybe I had. But we didn't even lose on the turn where I tapped out of my Drake. Tapped out for my Drake and they didn't even punish me on that specific turn, so I don't think that was it. Yeah, they played on Sol, it didn't matter much, I feel like. So 4th cruise necessary with fail plus Drake. As I said, could make the cruise be a mono green card instead. Because if we also keep shredders, we have less cards to cut. I think the first spell pierce was pretty tough for me. Pretty rough for me. That was kind of too many spell pierces actually. Even though I was saying it's great. It's pretty great, but I think 2 is probably the sweet spot for them. Play Screws in the Cyber of Ox of Agonas. Perfect card against mono green. Yes, mono green only is not thinking ice, just better. Well, thinking ice is probably one of the better cards versus mono green, yeah. So you could like replace it with that, or you could replace it with a Iconoclast or Pyro for more flexibility, or not, or something else. You know, depends if you want more flexibility or not. Or you could have an extra stroke, maybe even. Which also would help with Lotus a bit. Fable was pretty neat against Lotus, producing the extra mana while you were able to hold up mana and cantrip into more counter magic and actually win this way. That was pretty base. I liked that. Although my point kept Grazer's post board, which was, I think, unconventional in the matchup. And Riot doesn't do that, and Riot always beats me, and other Lotus people don't always beat me. And my opponent also said in the chat that they were playing the match for the first time. Out of the top decks, what would you bring in Fable for? Probably for the like grindy ones and the leyline slash rest in peace ones. I don't know about mono white, don't want against mono green. I don't know about the mirror match, could try. I lost to Fable awkwardly. That's like the second, the backside is not super, it doesn't really do much. In the mirror, it's just like the top, the front side's making treasures, so probably not great. We also need to keep in mind the amount of the pieces non-hits. Fable mana ramping is pretty good in the mirror, sure. But you know, like if the goblin gets answered, then your Fable isn't particularly good anymore. If your goblin shaman gets answered. Alright, I'll finish the stream now, I'll come back in an hour and I have to open 500 chests. With bro cards. 551 chests. How many tickets do I have? Want 80 more? 80 more of what? 80 more chests? I think 500 is plenty. Hi Kaneki, see you in Sofia. Would you sign my playmat? Yes, but just bring a Sharpie with yourself so we can actually sign it. Alright, so see you in a while.